Right, okay, so I'm filming here with Flashuppressor, who you guys will remember from the Gitcast podcast series. We just got done watching the trailer for the live-action movie of Cats, which is, as some of you may know, very, very famous, very popular Broadway musical that's toured around the world. Very popular, very well reviewed and regarded. It's been going on nearly as long as Wicked, I think,
yes,
even.
Yes, indeed. Based on a series of poems by T.S. Eliot.
Yeah, very well regarded poems as well,
Yes,
must be said.
I like the poems.
And
that gives away my opinion on the trailer and the musical, doesn't it?
But yeah, so basically, they're making a live-action film out of the play.
Came as a complete shock to me.
I'd seen over the last couple of days on Twitter that people had been just ripping the absolute cojones out of it. But we just watched the trailer for the first time, and oh boy, is it juicy! So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I would even say it's probably something that the furries would look at and just think, Jesus Christ, that's a bit much.
Yeah, well, as I said, there's not enough fur for the furries, is there?
No.
No, it sort of looks like the costumes for an episode of Deep Space Nine where they go to the planet of the vaguely anthropomorphic cat people.
Yeah.
To clear up the litter tray catastrophe that's threatening them. Don't know where that came from. That analogy kind of trailed off a bit to the end. But no, I mean, we had a look at it, and my first thought was that or one of the scenes from Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets.
Which itself wasn't the best film adaptation either.
I like both the film and the comics, but I agree it's not the best.
I mean, as decent as the film is in certain parts, it's nowhere near as good as the comics.
No, indeed. I read the comics, both in the original French and the English. They're great. But before we get sidetracked too much, yeah, I mean, then there followed a list of all the big-name celebrities that they'd got to star in it.
Yeah, it was literally just like a list of like people you just thought, wow, that's someone who just doesn't need the money.
And then James Corden came on the list, and we both just went, oh, God, no.
I think, yeah, we both collectively just looked at each other and just went, oh.
Credit where it's due, he can sing, and I'm sure that in a stage performance, he is brilliant. But I just don't like seeing him on film, and I don't like his show, whatever it is, the Late Late Show with James Corden. My sister makes me watch clips of that. And
why?
Just know. Well, she and my mum like it. They like is it the Edward Norton Show? The something Norton Show? Graham Norton Show on the BBC. They like all that sort of thing.
See, Graham Norton Show's all right, because Graham Norton's a more natural presenter, but just James Corden is some guy who kind of got famous off of a few comedies and...
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of spiraled it into... Admittedly, I've kind of got to give credit to him. He spiraled it into a really successful career in presentation, comedy, singing, all sorts of things. So I've got to give him some credit. But he's kind of one of those guys who, even though he has got some talent, like, it's just like, if you put him in a film nowadays, and you see his credits, it just gives you that sense of just... even though you know he's probably not that bad of a guy, and he's probably fairly talented, you still see his credits and you just think, oh really?
At least, unlike Russell Crowe, he can sing.
Yeah,
but that's the thing.
Russell Crowe just sounds like someone's kicking him in the nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, it's still directed by the chap who directed the... I was about to say the Expendables. No, Les Miserables.
Wait, what's his name again?
The man who directed it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't actually remember the name of him now. But no, I just saw that it was directed by the same chap as directed Les Miserables, and
imagine if he directed the Expendables. You'd have Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren having a sing off while shooting at each other with semi-automatics in a warehouse.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis does a long solo in a single take to prove that they did it in a single take.
Yeah, and then. And then in the second film, they get like Jean-Claude Van Damme to do ballet.
Oh gosh, that would be interesting. Oh yes, I would pay to see that.
That would actually be quite funny.
Expendables on ice. That's what I should see. Oh wait a minute, that was Fast and Furious 7. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to see a bunch of like 50, 60, 70-year-old action heroes who I admire, just sort of slobbing around on ice because they probably all fall over.
Yeah. Speaking of elderly people whom elderly is a bit harsh, but mature actors whom we admire, Judi Dench and Ian McKellen are also in this. And I had to say...
Wasn't Helen Mirren in it?
Was it Helen Mirren? I thought it was Judi Dench.
Yeah. Actually, you continue speaking while I look
Yes,
at it.
Anyway. Ian McKellen, problem is you can barely tell he's being made to look like a cat. And as for Dame Judi Dench, I admire her a lot, but it has to be said that when she's sort of dressed as something out of a live-action remake of the Aristocats, which I'm sure is coming, she does just look like...
My computer crashed, so
your computer crashed, so we'll never know. You can put it in the description or something. Yeah. I'm fairly sure it was Judi Dench.
Alright.
But it was difficult to tell. But, yeah. So she just sort of looked like someone's aunt who has to shave her moustache, was my immediate thought in that one.
Yeah.
And apart from that, apart from the fact that I'm not the greatest fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber, just generally, I don't think I'll be going to see it, because ultimately my closing thought would have to be that I do consider stage productions to be inferior to film in some ways.
But you said earlier that there are some things that just naturally work better in a stage production than a film.
Yes, and people dressed up in cat suits that are meant to be cats, but we see them in the film as very obviously being human and anthropomorphic, doesn't really work, particularly when over the past couple of years we've had the live-action remake of The Jungle Book with utterly brilliant CGI, and we're getting a Lion King remake as well, which also looks to have brilliant animal CGI. Well, we reserve judgment on The Lion King, but you can't deny The Jungle Book.
Yeah, The Jungle Book looks alright. The Lion King, I think, looks really mediocre. I mean, you can, barely tell there's any emotion on the characters' faces.
In fairness, they're lions, and they don't have a human character in the mix to sort of juxtapose it and keep the illusion going.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, so
that's a fair counterpoint, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, because it's like everyone always says, CGI alone can't sell you on something. You need to have a mixture of practical and CGI in general. Either that, or you need to have some exceptionally good actors who can really properly portray acting to green screens and green prop models for CGI to be put on later.
Yeah.
And The Jungle Book had that. But returning to Cats, I don't know. The trailer as a whole, it was literally just a list of people that they got. So that suggests to me that they don't think they can sell the film on its own merits. And I don't know. I reckon that we'll be absolutely inundated by marketing for it, which is always a clue that they're trying to trick as many people into going to see it as possible.
Yeah.
Before everyone cottons on, no pun intended, that it is kind of terrible. But I've never actually seen the musical Cats, so I don't really have all that much right to criticise.
I did kind of feel a bit unclean in the first minute of the trailer, though, because it just the way they just... I don't know, it was just something about the way the characters moved that just made me feel really uncomfortable. I was just like, oh, I don't like this.
Yes, now when you saw the shadow profile of one of the cat people moving... No. Well, unless it turns out to be absolutely brilliant, I don't think we'll go and see it unless we get really drunk and we do it on a dare.
Yeah, just a pair of absolutely shit-faced history students just going to the fucking cinema with just full of teenage girls and middle-aged mums on nights out, and we're just just at the back going, oh fucking good God, that looks fucking terrible.
We should do that sometime.
Just with you stinking of cider and me reeking of old bitter or something.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Okay, well, I think we've sort of wrapped that up.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about it. I mean, thing is, with any old film, I want it to be good. I don't.
Yeah.
Thing is, I do have like initial feelings that like certain films will just be bad from the moment I see it. But like, I always hope a film is good so that it at least has some worth. But like, I don't get it from this. I want it to be good, but I don't think it will be.
I don't know. I think we might have a situation similar to the 50 Shades of Grey film, where everybody does their level best, and that means that it doesn't sort of have the comedy value of being utterly terrible.
Level best?
Well, we don't
Have you
know.
ever seen the fucking acting in 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, they were given a fairly mediocre script, and it was competently shot.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, it's sort of like in Passengers when you have Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt.
Yeah, where
who
they're
are both fairly good actors.
Who are both very good actors, but they're just given nothing to
work with at all. No,
and as a result, you've got like what could be a good premise, two really good actors, and again a decent score and shooting in Passengers, but it's just an utterly boring and unenjoyable film because like they're just given nothing to work with material-wise.
No, indeed. I don't know. As a final thought, I would say I'm not all that invested in whether the film is good or not, but I do hope that it kind of is for the sake of all the people who are fans of Cats, and there are many such fans.
Yeah.
So I hope they have something that they can enjoy, even though I probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I growing up wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Transformers. I was really into Animal Wars, actually, the CGI version of it in the early 2000s where all the robots were based off of animals. But generally speaking, I wasn't a big fan of the franchise. But even still, when the Michael Bay films came out, I was hoping like, I hope they're good, so it can give me more of a reason to get into the franchise.
Yeah.
And it will give like the modern fans something to enjoy. But like, not so much. It just turned out to be a just massive cash grab that was just really, really just beige and grey and just.
Yeah.
No, I think I do, like I always say though, even if I have apprehensions about a certain film, I do hope it's good, and I really hope Cats is good, because by all extents and purposes, the poems and musical that it's based on are, like we said, really well regarded, and I hope it lives up to them, but I just don't feel it.
No. Ultimately, as I say, I doubt we'll be going to see it. But who knows, if it's on Netflix one day and I just am completely bored out of my skull, I might give it a watch. Who knows?
Well, sorry for yawning, that was awfully rude. Anyway.
Well, to be fair, it is coming on for 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, we should probably put dinner on soon. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see us do any other videos like this in the future, let us know. And leave a like, comment, share and subscribe. Check out Phil's book review channel in the video description below, as well as my social medias and YouTube platforms. And see you guys next time on this channel.
Whichever one it is.
This is going up on Gitbag the Great.
Okay,
Don't badmouth the boy. Alright, see you guys next time.